Hi, this is Paul from Outerloop Coaching and OuterloopCoaching.com, and today I want to answer the question, should you put your music on Spotify? There are 5 very popular reasons why people object to putting their music on Spotify. So I want to answer those objections, and then I want to add one little nugget at the end that I want to make sure that you are thinking about. So real quick, subscribe, comment down below, give me a thumbs up if you like the video. I don't like the thumbs downs, but thumbs up are really appreciated. Thank you very much. Please share as you like. First reason why people object to putting their music on Spotify is that Spotify doesn't pay enough. And that's absolutely true. It's almost inarguable that Spotify is not paying artists enough for the music that's on their platform. They're making millions, billions for their stockholders, for the CEO. They got beautiful offices, and the music, the money's not getting down to the music that's actually building the platform. It's absolutely true. Unfortunately, it's like fighting the tide. There is no power within a few artists, within even a very popular artists like a Taylor Swift. There's no power among just 1 or 2 artists to change that. It's going to take probably, in my opinion, legislation from multiple countries to change that. It's just the way it is. So you can fight it all you want, but think about it this way. If you were going to play a festival in front of millions of people and someone said you can do this, but you got to play for free, would you take the gig? Absolutely you would. That's kind of like putting your music on Spotify. It's an opportunity to get your music in front of millions of people. It ain't right. It ain't good. You're entertaining people. You absolutely should get paid better than you are. But that's not the way it is. You might as well just use the platform, not for making money, but use the platform as a way to get your music in front of people and find some of your super fans. I'll talk about more of that in just a second. Too crowded. There's too much music on Spotify. Why add to it? Well, guess what? It's only getting worse. And if you are actually serious about making music your career, it's just gonna have to get onto Spotify. You're gonna have to get there. The sooner you get on there, the sooner the better. You can build, and when you build a fan base on Spotify, the returns can become exponential over time, as long as you stay active on the platform. Next reason is that you want to build anticipation. You want people waiting for your music to get on Spotify. Well, if you're Tool or you're a Taylor Swift, that's a lot of anticipation, and that's really cool. If you're just a band just kind of getting going, you don't have enough people to build anticipation, and those people will just get frustrated rather than get excited for it. And if they're hearing it other ways, especially if they're able to get it because friends are swapping MP3s or whatever it is that people do nowadays, then you're not building anticipation at all. You're just frustrating people. So get your music up on Spotify. Make sure that you're, hitting them where it counts, Now you can put up just a track or 2 tracks or 3 tracks and have a whole bunch of stuff that's leading up into the future. But that just doesn't make sense to not have anything, okay? So if you've got music on other streaming platforms, then you absolutely have to have your music on Spotify. If it's on SoundCloud, if it's on Apple, if it's on Google Play and everybody else, YouTube, then it has to be on Spotify because that's where the audience is. Now, it's a bigger chunk of people are on that platform than there are other platforms. There is an argument within certain genres and sub-genres to try to keep cool and hip or whatever, to be able to say that you're not on a platform like Spotify and instead you're on a SoundCloud or a Bandcamp or whatever. But generally, if you're trying to build a really big, greater audience, you need to have your music on Spotify. Now, if you're thinking that you're going to release your music on one platform and then another platform, that's just the wrong way to go about it. Please check out our program, Release It Right. Information in the pop-up box here up over my head. Release your music right, okay? There's a strategy for the way to do it, and it's super, super effective. Maybe you don't want to put music on Spotify because you're waiting to get signed. I hear this a lot. a lot of people are like, well, you know what? We're just going to try to make, get signed to a record label just on the value of our music, the quality of the music. And as a result, then we'll let the label put it out on Spotify and they'll do it right and all that sort of thing. Unfortunately, labels are not signing that way very much anymore. It's extremely rare. If you like playing the lottery and expect to win every week, then this is a great strategy. Otherwise, a lot of the signings that happen nowadays are happening as a result of data. Data is king, and data has to be verifiable. So what they're looking at, sometimes they're looking at your Facebook, your Instagram followings, maybe even TikTok views. All that stuff is mattering. They want to see tons and tons of followers. They want them to be legit. So if you buy a farm to harvest a bunch of followers that aren't real, do not do it. You can't undo it, and it is incredibly obvious, and people will just discard you altogether. You could have millions of people following you, and that first 500,000 might be the first they come across, and that will not, they're going to think that the whole thing is fake. Never, ever, ever do it. Do it legitimately. Build a real fan base on these social media platforms. The real big following that labels are looking at nowadays is your Spotify numbers. They want to see tons of streams. They want to see tons of followers. They want to see that you've built an audience that they can build upon. Now, it used to be that all of that artist development would happen at the label. They'd make that investment, and you'd grow up from your first album with no followers whatsoever, and you get a music video, and you tours, and blah, 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 and eventually you build. Labels don't want to make that investment anymore. They want you to have already done that first leg of hard work already. They want to see that you've got followers, you've got fans, you've got people listening to your music. There are strategies to how to do it. Spotify should be absolutely, in my opinion, your number one or number two platform that you're spending the most time trying to build an audience. All right, here's another argument I hear all the time. We make albums, not singles. Absolutely, since digital music came along, it has changed the way that people listen to music. But we're talking about 20, 25 years now of people listening to singles and not albums as much as they used to. And I'm sorry that you think you're an album band, but this is the thing. As soon as you make your music public to the world, you no longer have control how your audience wants to absorb it. So they may only want to listen to it while they're sitting in a swimming pool, and you're like, I never want people listening to my music while in a swimming pool. It's too bad. You've made the music available. Now it's up to everybody else how they're going to listen to it. And if they want to hear your music song by song, there's only one way that you can prevent that from happening so much. And that is, you have to release a single 50-minute, 45-minute, whatever it is, track that is all your songs is one long song. That's the only way to really do it. Otherwise, just put it out track by track. And I should add, if you do that one long song, you're really gonna hate it when the publishing money pops in. And it's already bad. You're making it so much worse. Just get comfortable with the idea that your audience is gonna listen to your music the way they wanna listen to your music, not necessarily the way that you intend it on being listened to. There are no rules once you put something out there. It doesn't matter what your art is, whether it's painting or it's writing or creating music, whatever it is, the audience is going to find its connection with it the way it does. And it may be a completely unintentional misunderstanding of what you're trying to do, but it is the correct way for them. And that's what matters. Make that connection however you can. Here's the last one, another number, I think we're on number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6. Number 6. Oh my goodness, this is a huge one. I hear this all the time. If we put our music on Spotify, people won't buy the album when we put it on sale. It's a catch-22. Catch-22 meaning that if nobody knows that you exist, nobody's going to buy anything. If you make yourself aware that you exist on a platform like Spotify, they won't necessarily buy anything either. But I talked earlier about your super fans, right? You've got multiple levels of fans. You've got people who are casual fans. You've got fans in the middle. They're really good fans, you know? And then you got your super fans. Now, Super fans are the type of people who, when you put out a shirt, they buy it. When you put out a bundle, they buy it. When you come to town, they come and they bring friends, and they are just way into you. You want to create as many super fans as you possibly can. And here's the ticket. When you have a super fan who's listening to you on a platform like Spotify, where you're making almost no money for people to hear your music, those super fans will still give you money. They will still buy your albums. They'll still buy your singles. They'll do everything they can to support you. But you have to nurture them. You have to grow them, and you have to sell stuff to them. And it won't be your streams. It's okay. Focus on trying to turn casual fans into big fans, and turn your big fans into super fans. And then figure out a way to try to provide really cool stuff to your super fans, and try to provide really cool stuff for your big fans. And if you can get enough from both of those two types of people, not your casual fans. Your casual fans are just going to spin you on Spotify or their other streaming platforms, and that's it. But if you can get your big fans and your super fans to support you by buying other stuff, that is the way that you're going to be able to make your music your career. It's a fairly simple strategy, but Spotify, unfortunately, has almost nothing to do with it as far as the money's concerned. And that's sort of the overall thing. This is not going to be a money maker for you. It may at some point get you a few $1,000. It may get you a few $100. You may make enough to to go out and take everybody out to lunch, right? But that's about it. That's about it. And it's a bummer, but it is what it is. So find the other ways, find the other products and great ways to try to sell to your audience. Now, the last tip I just got to add, don't put your music just on Spotify. Put it on all the streaming platforms. Try to get it out everywhere you possibly can. If it's a streaming platform that you've just discovered and nobody else is on it, guess what? Get on it early, and as that platform grows, you are going to grow too. It's like being a fish in a small pond, and as more water and more smaller fish get in there and you can gobble them up, you're going to grow just like that pond does. And when it's a lake, you're going to be a massive whale, right? So think about it that way. You want to make sure that when you're working with a digital music distributor, that you are aware as to what platforms they're going to get your music onto and what platforms they will not. And try to get it on the other platforms yourself, DIY if you need to, or talk to them about how to get them working on additional platforms beyond their normal package. That's all I got for you. Paul from Outerloop Coaching. There's a lot more about this on the blog. Check out the blog. There's a ton of stuff up there. I also got a really great email list where I'm giving out great advice almost every single day. Almost every day. I don't know how I do it. Check me out, outerloopcoaching.com. I got some free stuff you can download for free just for signing up for the email list. And also got the blog. So thank you very much, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you. Hit the like.